I'm Hugh Robinson. I've been living here in Prince Henry Heights now for 20 years. Originally, I grew up in the Condamine district. It was a district undergoing quite a lot of change. Agriculture was starting to grow, whereas people still had sheep and cattle. Today, of course, the Condamine district, there's a lot of agriculture and feedlotting. During the 60s in particular, people were clearing their scrub country, pulling it down, leaving it for 2 or 3 years, letting it grass up and then drop a match in it. So we often saw fires, particularly in November, December period. People always prepared well, had fire breaks, notified their neighbours and that sort of thing. So we didn't really ever see any dangerous fires that I can remember. But it wasn't until I came to live at Prince Henry Heights here on the escarpment that I realised that where there's slope and considerable slope, fire can be very dangerous. In 2002, we were evacuated and a fire came up from the northern side. It didn't get into Prince Henry Heights, but they were able to stop it. From what I can remember, it was pretty dry. There were fires down in the valley for quite some time, but it wasn't until one of them crept over here, the police came and told us to get out. There was quite a lot of evacuation, and I understand not just here in Prince Henry Heights, but other parts of the escarpment. And when I talked to some of my friends who'd come in from the country like myself, they just thought it was stupid that the council did that sort of thing, or the police. There was no need for it. But it wasn't until I came to a presentation of Fire Brigade here 2 years ago that I learnt that fire doubles its speed for every 10 degrees of elevation. So if a fire comes up our escarpment, it can be travelling at considerable speed and be very dangerous. Yes, well, here we are right on the edge of the escarpment. Well, it's a lot steeper than 45 degrees, I can tell you. Well, it could be doing well over 100 kilometres an hour, and with a decent wind behind it, where would it stop? It's pretty frightening, really. We hope no one ever lives to see it, but there's no reason, with the wind in the right direction and a dry time, that if the fire got particularly into the treetops, there's no way anyone can stop it. You just got to get out. Yeah, well, the bushfire season starts in September, and we can get southerly winds or southwesters. Once we go into summer, the wind can swing around to the north and the northeast. Well, I suppose the most dangerous wind would be the dry northwester, and you get them in October and November, and that could be a dangerous time. They're unpredictable, of course. The thing is, anyone that lives here just needs to be aware. You can't drop your guard. Well, our house is Liana Court, a cul-de-sac that runs off Panorama Drive. We've got houses down below us and we've got houses on the western side. I suppose you could feel a little bit safer there than the people that are right on the frontage. If a fire's travelling, it probably won't make much difference. There are some residents that have done some wonderful work clearing their frontage. They've removed all the lantana and pivot, just reduced it to grass that they can actually mow. A steadying effect on a fire. We did have a severe drought up until about this time last year, and some of the eucalyptus actually died. So in a sense, that's probably a good thing for us, because if the fire gets into the treetops, nobody can stop it. There's some areas, and substantial areas, where there's just one heck of a lot of fuel, right on from the bitumen to the homes. They're certainly areas of concern. The council did do a bit of backburning last year. It's about the first time we've seen it. So there is mounting pressure for people to take action and for the council to get involved in protecting the area. I understand that the land below Prince Henry Heights is council land, and it seems to be on the council where the responsibility lands. Most of the backburning was done from the quarry right around to the Bridge Street end in patches. There were some patches where they got good results and other patches, nothing much happened. The only thing that I heard that was critical, that they didn't really burn enough. The council had signs up down Bridge Street into Prince Henry Heights, and they'd have the dates, and if it rained, they'd even changed the dates. So people had a fair idea, if they were going in and out, what was happening. The impact in terms of smoke was fairly minimal. In the 20 years I've been here, there's been small pockets of fire, but there hadn't been anything that covered an extensive distance around Prince Henry Heights. Last year was probably the most comprehensive attempt that I've seen. There was quite a lot of fuel. In no parts was it a severe fire, and there were patches where I think the council, there wasn't probably enough fuel for the fire to run. Since the fuel reduction burn in 2020, we've had very good summer rain, and the green panic has responded to what it was last year, probably even thicker. We'll be going into a period, particularly if it dries off during the winter, where the fire danger will increase. The grass would be the main worry. As I look around it, even here now, some of the trees, the eucalyptus, haven't recovered from the drought. They look to me as though they're completely dead. A resident of Prince Henry Heights formed a group last year. Our objective was to get information out into the Prince Henry community. I'm sure there's a lot of people that just don't understand the danger of fire. There's a particular problem here at Prince Henry Heights in that our entrance and exit road is a pretty narrow road, the same road in and the same road out. So if a lot of people want to get out while the fire brigade or whoever want to get in, that could create problems. It's not as though that you can drive down another track and escape a fire. When we were evacuated in 2002, the first thing I noticed when I drove out of Prince Henry Heights were the number of spectators on Bridge Street, and they'd be a problem too if there was a mad rush to get out. The message that I have for people who live in Prince Henry Heights is for them to become informed about the danger, the particular danger of fire that exists here. Now, residents can become informed by public meetings, but with another fire season coming around with lots of fuel on the ground, it will be imperative to understand how they can be involved in helping, and also what they can do with their own particular area. My message to the Toowoomba Regional Council is to stay in contact with the members of the Prince Henry community and certainly be very proactive, because there is a large build-up of fuel, and that'll become a fire danger in the next few months. We were pleased that they did something last year. We certainly will need them to be active again this year, and also in any way they can help members of the community to become more involved. I'd really like the Queensland Fire Service to come out again and do another presentation, and we can work in conjunction of getting more of our residents to attend. Don't leave all the work to people my age, because I'll be 77 next birthday.